Tony D and Little Joan with the Screenwriter's Rant on three movies that are connected to bones. Bones is the theme. The first one is called 213 Bones, slasher movie. Then there's The Monster of Florence, kind of like the Italian Zodiac. And then there's The A-Frame, a sci-fi thriller. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 18. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Thanks to all who came out to the 50th anniversary of the New Jersey Folk Festival. Had a great day. Nice weather. Thank you for your support. All right. Let's get into it. So 213 Bones, pretty standard cut and paste slasher movie. A group of students have to put together some bones, and some of them turn out to be human. Here's your red herring in the movie, the creepy groundskeeper, who I'm sure turns out to be a nice guy. But the killer returns as the students figure something out. And one by one, they start to die. And I don't know, he wants their bones, and he tears out a dude's eyeball. And it's all very bloody and gory. I mean, it looks pretty cut and dry. So first act, there's a killer. There he is. They give him a creepy mask and crazy hair and blah, blah, blah. Here's another stock shot from a slasher movie. A random dude saying, "Hey, be careful out there. There's a lot of weirdos." So it doesn't look like my cup of tea. Lots of bloody scenes like that. So the first act, there's a killer, killed a bunch of dudes, and then the students put together who he killed from years ago, somehow through bone research, and then more students start to die as they get closer to pinning the killer, who the real killer is, and then one by one they die until they eventually figure out who the real killer is. And it's always a twist. Maybe it's this guy. I don't know. And then this big showdown at the end. This dude gets his eyeball ripped out. Big showdown at the end, and they kill the killer and rip his mask off and save the day. 213 bones. So there. It's that. All right. Let's see. Is there right up here? A group of anthropology students discover that studying the past can be deadly in a slick, smart whodunit horror. When they begin finding human bones and personal property scattered around their campus, it becomes clear that a gruesomely masked maniac is brutally targeting them, and late-night study sessions turns into a frantic race to solve the attacker's identity before they all end up as textbook homicide cases. It's left to Sheriff Bracco, Laurie, the county coroner, and the teacher, and their teacher Kelly, to help find out who the real bone-crunching assassin is before another innocent becomes the next victim. Yeah, it's not my kind of movie. I'd give it a pass. Doesn't look scary. The Monster of Florence. This is kind of like the Zodiac Killer of Florence. I don't know if he left clues, though, but he did terrorize Florence for like 17 years. I would probably, and so this is a dramatization. I would see this simply because I have no idea about this case. And it does take place in Italy. It looks kind of cool. Here, these guys chase down this woman. I'm not sure the story on this one at all. So I would be interested in seeing it. And then seeing how true it was and, looking over the evidence. But apparently the killer terrorized Florence for 17 years. It's called The Monster of Florence. So pretty standard stuff. First act, there's a killer on the loose and first victim, and it escalates from there, going over the famous murders. I don't know if they caught this guy or not. So that's another big revelation for me. Since I know nothing about this, I'd probably be on the edge of my seat. So yeah, maybe I'd watch it. if I read the Wikipedia entry, then I'd probably be like, oh, that's what happened. Ah, damn it, I ruined the movie. And finally, this is a weird movie called The A-Frame. So it starts with a group of cancer-stricken people, and they're in a sort of a meeting. And after the meeting, a scientist approaches one of the cancer people and says, hey, I have this experimental procedure. Do you want to try it? And she has bone cancer, which is pretty serious. So he takes her to the A-frame, where she sticks her hand in, and the A-frame cures her miraculously of cancer. And then he says, okay, I built a bigger version of the A-frame. Now I want to test it on a human. Unfortunately, when they test it on a human, this guy, a stand-up comic who has cancer, he shaves his head and he puts his whole body in the machine, and he comes out all gruesome and messed up. So, a quick, mean, and gruesome morality play with a perfect ending that'll leave you in stitches. So I guess there's a comedic ending to this? I'm not sure. I don't understand how the A-frame works or what the conceit here is. A quantum physicist develops a machine that creates a tunnel to a subatomic universe. In his quest to prove the machine's efficacy, he inadvertently discovers a radical treatment for cancer. Yeah, but I think something goes terribly wrong, so they left that part out. I might see this, it's just because it's such a wacky conception. Calvin Lee Reeder is the writer and director. No names, but I might check it out. It's kind of vaguely reminds me of The Fly, a little bit of that. So, yeah, the A-frame. I think it could be good. I don't know. I like these kinds of movies. I assume it would be pretty short. Yeah, an hour 22. I would check it out. Unless it's just a slog. So, not a bad streaming choice. All right, so that's the choices: the A-frame, the Monster of Florence, and 213 Bones. Well, I would put 213 Bones on the bottom. It doesn't strike me as particularly original. There's a little originality in it, maybe. But I can't stand these slasher movies with the very iconic mask. Look, like, part of the cool thing, if you can even call it cool, with Jason Voorhees, he had a hockey mask because, like, hockey masks are all over the place. And you just pick one up and, like, okay, that's your mask. Like, that's more organic. This guy has a mask somebody designed. And I'm not sure why. It kind of doesn't make any sense. It sort of elevates the movie into a realm of, yeah, this is very, contrived. So I probably wouldn't see it at all. After that, what would I like? I think it would be The Monster of Florence would be second, although it's kind of a close call. It looks good. My worry would be bogged down in a lot of details I don't really know or care about. But, yeah, I'd kind of check it out. Again, I think it's kind of like an Italian Zodiac. And finally, at the top would be the A-frame, simply because it's kind of a weird premise. So I'm kind of interested in seeing if somebody can pull this off. I don't have a super lot of confidence, but the movie's short. Even if they don't really pull it off, like, if it's a good attempt, it's short enough you get out of it like, well, that was kind of interesting, and then you don't feel like you got dragged through the mud, But it'd be a close call between that and the Monster of Florence, I think. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D. And Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. Thanks to all who came out to the 50th annual New Jersey Folk Festival. And it was a great day. Tomorrow I'll be at the Peach Festival. I'm not sure how many videos I'm doing tonight. I'm pretty wiped out. But we'll see. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.